Joel and Kathy Davisson, who run a fairly well-known marriage ministry called God Save My Marriage, explain that sometimes it's necessary for the wife to send the husband a wake-up call by lowering the boom. Before I get started though, hey, if you're enjoying this content, hit the like button, subscribe, give me a comment on the video here. Well, the Davissons, they use this term lower the boom to describe the wife threatening and even filing divorce to punish the husband who has abused them. Now, it's worth noting that virtually anything which makes the wife unhappy is abuse. It fits their ever-expanding definition of abuse, such as, quote from the Davissons, she has spoke directly to her husband about her heartfelt needs, and he has rejected her heart cry repeatedly. She's begged him to go to counseling, and he has refused. She has pleaded with him to read good books on marriage, and yet he has declined to do so. These things and other things like them would qualify, according to the Davissons, in the realm of mental, emotional, verbal, and or spiritual abuse, which could lead the wife to need to lower the boom on the husband. Now, if that sounds a little over the top, I personally have family members who have experienced this very ideology, this very thing. The husband wasn't making the wife happy. He wasn't a strong alpha male who was leading in the home. And so they went to pastoral counseling, Christian counseling, and the associate pastor counselor of their church told the husband that if he didn't wake up and get with the program, then his wife had every right to leave him, divorce him. And this was at a conservative church. That was the advice. In this same couple, the wife went to her own Christian counselor at a Christian counseling group, who told her that she was being abused because her husband was emotionally neglecting her, because he wasn't connecting with her on a deep level and hearing her heartfelt needs. You know, never mind the fact that she had browbeat him so bad for years that he didn't even want to come home some days. Never mind that, you know. And so eventually she served him the papers, lowering the boom. Back to the Davissons, though. What should the abused wife do if she experiences this type of thing? Well, number one, communicate to her husband exactly what he's doing or not doing that is straining the relationship. Number two, require that he be a man of God in his marriage by being the husband that he promised to be when he convinced her to marry him. Then forgive her husband if he hears her heart and begins to change into the husband that he promised to be when they were dating. But here's the warning for the wife. If a wife has not plainly spoken, if a wife has not called upon her church leadership to speak to her husband and call him to accountability, if she has not asked him to read books or go to counseling, then she has to do this first. First thing first. But after this, then what should the godly wife do? Should she, as 1 Peter chapter 3 says, wives, in the same way, submit yourselves to your own husbands, so that if any of them do not believe the word, they may be won over without words by the behavior of their wives? Should she follow Scripture? And that's a hard thing to do. I mean, we'll admit, to submit to a failing husband, that is a hard thing to do. Should she do that according to the Davissons? No. She should lower the boom. Quote, if she has done all these things and he is still a manipulative, controlling, and abusive husband, or if he is simply retreating, non-responsive to her needs, and who continually ignores her pleas, then she must act before she becomes embittered. Now here's where it gets intense. Quote, she must engage the law to the fullest extent to extract child support and alimony. If her state can extract this from him with a separation, then separation is the way to go. If her state cannot extract this, then she must file a divorce to, quote, put his back to the wall. They say, quote, if this wife does nothing, the end result is clear. She will become a bitter woman who is so deeply wounded that in many cases her relationship with the Lord will be hurt or even ended, and her husband will continue in his rebellion. Well, that's some pretty serious stuff there. I just wonder, does this advice actually work for a wife to not submit, to just serve her husband divorce papers so that it shocks him back into submission to her? Does that actually work? Does this advice actually work? I wonder what their success rate is here. You know, this advice, though, is pretty similar to the plot of the Christian movie Fireproof, if anybody's seen that movie. The husband is sinning. He's not attentive to his wife's needs. And so she threatens him with divorce. He then gets his act together and wins her affection again after she nearly has an affair with the rich, successful doctor that she works with. Wow. Such good Christian advice and modeling in the movie there. Well, for my fellow patriarchs out there, what do you think of this? Hit the like button, leave me a comment. I'll put links to the article in the video notes here. Boy, this is some pretty crazy advice. Well, Christ is winning. He is building his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Until next time, I am the Postmillennial Man.